Welcome, my viewers, to a crucial conversation that transcends borders, the complex and sensitive topic of the racial slur, word or term used to call a black person. Now, in today's video, we look into a unique perspective shared by a palm-color lady living in France. She unveils the stark contrast on how the racial slur or word used to call a black person is treated in France compared to the United States, rooted in distinct historical context. Now, the plot thickens as she stumbles upon a surprising revelation. The official Paris 2024 Olympics account features a video with a song using the word not once but 3 times. Now, she grapples with the cultural dissonance, recognizing that for a global audience, this inclusion is highly questionable. As we unpack this unexpected twist, questions arise. How does cultural context shape our perception of language? Is it a matter of insensitivity or a genuine oversight? And in the era of global connectivity, should major international events be held to a universal standard when it comes to potentially offensive content? So join me as we navigate through this intricate web of language, cultural awareness, and the unexpected inclusion of that word in official Olympic promotional materials. Are you ready to explore the complexities of this discourse and ask the burning questions that need answers? Then let the dialogue begin. Check out these videos. I will be right back.
Can we talk about word for a second? I'm American, there's only one word. And something that I've noticed in the last 8 years living in France is that treated very differently in France than it is in the US. This makes sense given the US's history with slavery and that word. Whereas for French people, exposure to that word primarily comes through popular movies and music. And at the end of the day, even though the word is the same thing, it doesn't seem to carry the same weight here. And so people just say it. And when I mean people, I mean like my coworkers used to say this like it was not a problem. And I was like, hi, please don't ever say that around me. Like, that's not okay. Anyway, when a song is unedited and is playing in a public place, I find that kind of amusing as an American because that's not something we ever see back home. Songs are always radio edits when they're in public places. But I just saw a post from the Paris 2024 account making a video with a song using that word not once but 3 times on their official account. And I totally get that French people seeing this video are not gonna bat an eye. But as an American seeing that video, I had to like triple check that this was on the official Paris Olympics account. Because I feel like somebody should tell them that like for a global audience, that word is like not something that should be in like promotional materials of any kind. So, I don't know, maybe like private that post, maybe take it down completely forever and find a different song to put with that. Just find it very weird, Paris 2024. And if you ever need like a cross-cultural consultant to help you out with some social posts, like drop me a message. I can say like, yes, this is appropriate, or no, this is not. But that one is like a pretty easy hard pass 100% of the time. Don't use that word in your official videos. It's not a good look.
There are really people in our comment section trying to justify this, saying it's sharing culture. That is not the case. There are some black people that don't use that word at all. There are some black people that don't allow other black people to call them that word. And what baffles me more is the fact that French people be on this app correcting everyone on how to say like croissant. Be so real. The moment someone tells you stop using that word and you're just like, no, it's a part of my vocabulary. Bitch, no, it's not. How is an American term from slavery a part of your French vocabulary? Because you heard it in Paris? Be so for real. Yeah, don't come to New York saying to black people unless you can fight. Respectfully.
She goes on to talk about how in France is used very loosely because people don't really know the weight of the word. And for the Paris 2024 official account on TikTok, they used a song repeated amount of times versus in like the United States, it would have been very censored. The whole funny thing about that video is that the comments just awful. It's just people not taking her seriously, you know, them saying, hey, American here. We say it in America too. And the only reason I find it funny is because it's like another big black people. Just another big in our face. It's just like a cultural shock to her. Because, like, when I was listening to her say it, I was like, this makes sense in my eyes. Like, not the fact that these people are actually, like, using the word and not caring about the history of it. It's just, it makes sense. It's on brand for the world. I'm gonna say this. Black people don't belong anywhere. Ever. There will never be a place and never be a corner where we are not hated and shamed. Bye.
So she goes on to talk about how the French just use word very, very liberally. And I'm going to tell a story to the embarrassment of a French friend of mine, but I love you, buddy. Anyhow, I went to college, a college that had a sister school in France. I went to school in Louisiana, right? And so every year we would have a number of French exchange students. I lived in like the dorms, French quarter, because I was like minoring in French or something like that. And there's this one girl who came in one year, and she's really great person, right? And we were sitting there. It's literally the first week of her being there. She was big into hip hop. Hip hop was a big part of the way that she like started learning English. It was like me, 2 other black students, and her, and Lord Pretty Flacco Jody from A$AP Rocky was on. And I was like, oh, I love this song. I love this song. And we were in there, and she hit every word. And then she like got up and went to her dorm room, and me and the other 2 students, we were like, yo, someone has to tell her. And we were sitting there, we were like, yo, like, I don't think that she knows. Like, we were sitting there, and I was like, well, you were her roommate. You got to tell her. Like, and she was like, no, I don't have to tell her. Y'all tell her. You're the one who blah, 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 blah. I think I ended up being the one that was like, yo, like, hey, I know it's probably different in France. You can't say that shit here. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She freaked out. But yeah, apparently in France, they just, from what I know about France, it's a little, from what I can understand, if you're a black American in France, you're going to be okay. Because they have like this whole fantasy about like how they're better than the US and like how the black artists always come over there. But from what I know, if you're like African, if you're Muslim, they don't really, like, I feel like specifically, they don't have slurs for black people directly, but they do have slurs for black Muslims and Muslims. They have like a bunch of different slurs for communities of Muslim people and slurs for Arab people as well. I think that's where like France centrally located. But I guess black Americans are an exception for some reason.
The funniest thing about this is that when I looked it up, French people have laws against the discrimination, the hate speech of people of any ethnicity, race, nation. I mean, they obviously ignore it, especially when it's for black people, but you know, that's a standard. People are people everywhere in Europe and in America. And from my personal experience, especially. It's the French Olympics made in France, in a French city, with a French theme. Say, Brownie. For a global audience, the US is not the damn globe. I mean, it's where you're getting all the culture you're taking from. Then don't use any American culture in your media from now on. That means the music that she was complaining about, that you guys are parroting because you're like, American music is so cool. If you guys want to go ahead and stop doing that way we could stop criticizing you for using our culture and then getting mad when you're like, we don't understand the context, we are in France, we do not have internet access except for Twitter and TikTok and only to see the funny, how you say, meme. So in the field that I work in, there is this concept called nothing about me without me. And the idea is that if you are talking about somebody or a group of people, they are always included in the conversation. In this particular context, it would be Americans and specifically Black Americans. And also, you know, there could be a little intersectionality. Maybe we can get some Black Parisians, Black French people voices, because in that comment section, all the people saying that she's been wrong and it is just for French culture. Oui. Like, no, none of them were Black. I noticed, I clicked on so many profiles, none of them were Black. So the idea that people are saying, no, we can't say the, it does not mean the same thing here. It's like, yeah. Why do you need to say it? Come to America, French people. I want to say it in my face.
In this video, this girl's talking about how they're just thrown around like crazy within French culture. And her coworkers even use, who gave these Europeans the right to be obnoxious every single time an American makes a video critiquing their culture? Americans, we get to decide how American culture is used. We get to decide. I don't understand why Europeans tend to just like completely not understand the concept of we get to dictate how our culture is used. Except when it comes to other European cultures, or if it comes to Japanese culture, it's all about respect. It's all about, well, it's their. But when it comes to Americans, they all hate us. Not just Europeans. Everybody hates Americans, even though half these people don't even have the right to hate America. If you guys know anything about history, for example, America rebuilt Europe after World War II. And this reminds me of a funny moment I had when I went to this old person's house when I was working at my sales job. I sit down and I see this old guy sitting there. He's like 90 years old. Old man, okay? I think he was older, actually. I think he was like 97. But he was an old man, and he starts telling me about how he's going to Europe. But then he starts ranting about how much he hates Europeans because, a lot of our men died. They don't give us that respect. And I was like, damn, you really got me thinking. I see it online too. What you guys did for their grandfathers, but their grandfathers clearly taught them to hate Americans or something because they still hate on us. We've done a lot for Europe, yet Europeans still hate us and still talk us. They don't respect our culture. They don't respect our values. They don't respect our opinion on our music, but they will appropriate our music. I don't care who you are. If you're French and you're over here making rap music, you're a culture war. The British are culture war. All of the Europeans are culture. And this doesn't just extend for the black culture in Europe. It also extends just for the general American culture. They are all, yet they don't even respect us. They don't even like us. It's not your word. You guys aren't in America. I got called 4 times as a kid, bro. Like by random people. Like one time I was at Sonic with my friend. Some guy screamed at me. But now guess what? Some European gets to use willy-nilly all at work and whatever with his colleagues. Guess who's in Paris? You know what I'm saying? What even is going on in this society anymore? So at the end of the day, I don't like Europeans. If you're European and watching this video and you're a woman specifically who's attracted to me, this isn't about you, okay? This ain't about you. This is about everybody else. But yeah, Europe, do better. Do better, Europe. Thank you.
Honestly, I'm not even surprised that a lot of European people use it casually because they think that saying that word is okay because they are a lot more overseas than in the United States, believe it or not. For many years, Europeans have always believed that, low-key don't exist. So they'll say anything crazy to a black person. And I've seen so many TikTokers talk about their experiences in Europe. And they'll be like, I went to Italy and they was being extremely nice to me and nobody did anything or said anything to them. And it's because they believe that it was okay over there. And it's so weird to me that, people think that it's okay to say it even in a song. You're not even supposed to say it, in my opinion. If you're not black, don't say it at all. I just feel like anyone who's not black who uses should face the repercussions of their actions. Because at this point in time, we all know that if you're not black, you're not supposed to. I don't know why people are having a hard time not saying it. It's just take it out of your vocabulary. It shouldn't be that hard, right? There's certain words and phrases I believe I shouldn't use as a person of color and as a male. I shouldn't be saying, right? So I could easily take it out of my vocabulary, no problem. But the problem with a lot of y'all is that y'all don't know how to hold yourself accountable to your behavior and your actions. And that's why I think that it's okay to keep saying or to use derogatory terms towards people. Learn how to control your mouth and your words. That's it, that's all.
Now, in the wake of our exploration into the Paris 2024 Olympics accounts use of the word in promotional content, the reactions from people around the globe have poured in. Clip after clip reveals a myriad of perspectives, just like we've heard and seen in the videos I played. Now, with some expressing bewilderment, others understanding the cultural nuances, and a few questioning the sensitivity of such a choice. The Palm Color Lady's perspective, living in France, resonated with some viewers who found her insights enlightening, offering a glimpse into the contrasting attitudes towards the word in different cultural contexts. However, opinions vary widely, reflecting the intricate tapestry of perspectives that define our globalized society. Now, as we navigate through these clips, it becomes apparent that this controversy transcends linguistic choices and delves into broader discussions of cultural representation, global responsibility, and the intersectionality of language in the context of major international events. events. The burning question remains, should there be a universal standard when it comes to language in global promotional materials? How do we navigate the complexities of cultural differences while upholding a sense of respect and understanding on a global scale? The diverse opinions shared in these clips open up avenues for a thoughtful and nuanced dialogue. So buckle up as we continue this exploration, delving deeper into the reactions and opinions surrounding the Paris 2024 Olympics and their choice of the language in their promotional content. Now, as the dialogue surrounding the Paris 2024 Olympics and the controversial use of the word unfolds, we'll look into additional layers of the conversation. Clips from various individuals highlight the broader implications of this linguistic choice, sparking discussions about cultural sensitivity, accountability, and the role of influential figures. Now, some argue that the inclusion of the word on the official Olympics account undermines the global platform's responsibility to set an inclusive tone. Others, however, maintain that cultural differences play a significant role, emphasizing the need for open-mindedness and understanding diverse perspectives. In this evolving discourse, questions arise about the potential impact on the Olympics' reputation, given their role as a symbol of unity and sportsmanship on the international stage. How do these choices align with the values the Olympics represent, and how might they affect perception of the event by a worldwide audience? Moreover, the connection between the controversial promotional content and the choice of Megan Thee Stallion as the brand ambassador adds an intriguing layer. Does this contribute to a more nuanced understanding of the complexities surrounding cultural appropriation, language, and representation? We need to dissect these additional insights, exploring the nature of this controversy. The diverse perspectives shared in these clips not only shed light on the immediate issue, but also spark reflections on the broader responsibilities of global institutions in fostering cultural awareness and understanding. Now, I know people get upset whenever someone makes generalizations about Europe, but unfortunately, it's that they're probably kind of artistic. Shocker, right? People hate the artistic word, but it's true. If you can't find it in your heart of hearts to understand why non-black people are using the word, which is bad, then you're artistic. And I don't want this BS culture relevance where you're culturally no. It doesn't matter where you go, that word means the same. You can't apply culture relevance to the word because anywhere you go, it means the same. Now, the use of this term is consistent regardless of geographical location. The contention is that the historical weight and racial implications tied to the word remain universally significant, transcending borders. Whether in the United States or France, the argument posits that the shared history of artisanship and slavery contributes to a common understanding of the word's derogatory nature. Critics assert that dismissing the gravity of the term based on cultural differences can perpetuate racial insensitivity and ignorance. The idea is that the term's artistic connotations persist, and using it casually or in promotional materials, as seen in the Paris 2024 Olympics case, perpetuates a form of racial insensitivity that should not be excused by cultural distinctions. This perspective encourages a global conversation about the responsibility of international entities to be cognizant of the historical and racial implications of language choices, advocating for a more inclusive and respectful approach. By recognizing the universality of the word's impact, regardless of location, it aims to foster a collective understanding that transcends cultural boundaries and promotes sensitivity to the complex issues surrounding artisanship. Now, the debate on the use of this word and opposing perspective contends that the significance of this term can indeed be shaped by cultural context. Advocates of this view argue that language is dynamic and evolves within distinct social and historical frameworks. They contend that the interpretation of the word might vary based on a region's unique historical experiences and cultural influences. Those who hold this perspective often emphasize that in certain contexts, particularly outside the United States, then the word may be used without the same historical baggage. They argue that understanding and acknowledging cultural nuances is crucial to avoid imposing a singular interpretation on a diverse global audience. However, critics of this stance argue that regardless of cultural distinctions, the term carries inherent racial implications rooted in a history of oppression and discrimination. They maintain that recognizing the universal impact of the word is essential in fostering a shared commitment to dismantling artisanship. This debate highlights the complexities of language and its interpretation, engaging announced examination of the words used in diverse cultural contexts. It prompts us to question whether cultural differences justify a deviation from acknowledging the universal racial weight carried by the term, or if a global standard should be upheld to combat racial insensitivity on an international stage. We have come to the end of the video. Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.